Okay, so today we're going to be talking about exploring stage 4. I know that some of you have already dipped your toes into it and some of you are already in it, but a lot of you, you're probably very new to this. I've been mentoring stage 4 for a few years now. I find it to be one of the fun parts of this job because I get to see participants just surprise me and astound me with these great cool ideas, and they take the technologies and they make them do things sometimes that I had not imagined or seen before. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of work, it's a lot of fun, and you can be super creative. And generally it's targeted towards the students you're teaching or you will be teaching. So today we're going to talk a lot of detail about what stage 4 is, and then we're going to go through a live tour. Stage 4 actually has 3 courses that you'll be working with when you're doing stage 4, and then a Q&A session at the end. Okay, so the Avenue training, we actually have 8 courses, but at this point, as teachers, you've gone through stage 1, stage 2, pre-stage 2, most likely stage 2. Some of you are probably in stage 2 or stage 3 and considering stage 4. Some of you are in stage 4. Stage 4 is basically the time, Stage 4 is the time when you actually make learning objects for your courses. Up until stage 3, we teach you how to manipulate the Avenue courseware, the Avenue system, so that you can manage courses and manipulate courses by moving things around, duplicating, sharing, expanding, customizing, and also creating learning opportunities and learning objects using Moodle tools only. So for example, the assignment, quiz, polls, all of those are Moodle, those in-house Moodle tools. But stage 4 is about getting outside of Moodle and making learning objects or learning opportunities with these other tools, and then putting them back into your course. Oh no. Sorry, Paul, would that be me, or is there background noise on my computer?
If other folks could mute their microphones, Marlene, if you don't mind, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. No worries. Thank you. So if you're a TESOL Ontario member, you will not only, if you finish stage 4, you get a stage 4 certificate from New Language Solutions or LearnIT2teach, but you also, if you submit a reflective report, a final report for this stage, you get a Developing E-Materials for Language Training certificate as well. And this is under the umbrella of the Post-TESOL Certificate Training Program through TESOL Ontario. If you want to find out more about that, go to the TESOL Ontario website. Okay, so when you are working on stage 4, you are going to go outside of Moodle, develop learning objects, and use them hopefully with your students, and demonstrate that you can make these things work within a link environment and within link themes and at the appropriate link levels. A few examples that some of the tools that you'll be looking at are Webquests, which are quite old but still effective. Hot Potatoes. Hot Potatoes is the tool we use to make the SCORM learning objects. Socrative is something that probably some of you have seen or used outside in the real world of teaching. You can actually make some Socratives and put them inside of your course through stage 4 as well. H5P, of course, I think some of you have heard of H5P. You can use Kahoot, Quizzes, and Quizlet. Now, you're not limited to these tools. You can actually propose one of your own. These are the ones we recommend because we know that they work well within the Avenue system. Your choice means really you choose the tools that you want to and what manner you're going to use them to create your course. and how much weight. Like you might actually have 8 H5Ps and 1 Webquest and 2 Kahoots. That might fulfill the requirements. So it's up to you. It's up to your needs and how you want to satisfy the requirements. Okay, so right now, most of you have not started stage 4. So let's just look at a general path. It looks very complicated, and it kind of is. Okay, so when you finish stage 3, you request a stage 4 to do stage 4. You're assigned a mentor, and then you're given 3 courses, access to 3 courses. The first one is stage 4 itself. The second one is the stage 4 exemplar course. So we give you a full example so you know what you're getting into. I'll show you one. And then there's a stage 4 personal course, which is where it's sort of like your canvas. You are going to start with a blank course and only put in learning objects that that meet the requirements of stage 4. So stage 4, where you train a model example, and then where you're going to create. So then you're going to go into stage 4, and you're going to read all the relevant documents up in the 0 topic near the top, all of that stuff. We'll see it in a little bit. And then you're going to start a work log. One of the requirements of stage 4 is that you document what you've done from the first second that you start stage 4 all the way to the end. Then you're going to, at that point, we have an introductory video you can watch. You're going to look at the assessment information, which will be some rubrics and some checklists. And then you're going to familiarize yourself with the course content. Now, after you've done that, that might take you maybe an hour or so, maybe a little longer. Then you will meet your mentor. You have to meet, it's a requirement that you meet your mentor for at least 1 hour, and you discuss what you understand stage 4 is, and then they will hopefully help you out before you actually start doing anything. Okay, so that's a requirement. The mentor must meet you to make sure that you've got a good foundation, and then they set a direction or 2 for you to move forward. Okay, so after you've met with your mentor, you might not know anything about H5P or the advanced features of H5P. So you're going to have to become familiar with these. Now, you're not going to have to become expert at these, but you're going to have to think, well, what is an interactive video in H5P? Maybe I can use it, or maybe I can incorporate it into my plan here. So you have to go and look. There's a thing called TextToys, and Hot Potatoes itself has lots and lots of variation. So you have to just go through and try a few of these things out. I don't recommend that you go A to Z and do all of them. That's a lot of work. I would do every second or third thing just to get a feel of what these things can do. And also we have lots of examples of finished products. So you can maybe just look at the finished products and say, I would love to do that, drag and drop with pictures. Okay. Then you would generate a work plan. So you've met with your mentor, you've got a general gist of what all these tools do. You also know you've already defined your level and what themes you're going to use. So then you can start working on a work plan. And we have a few examples of work plans that you can look at and get an idea of what we expect. So you make your work plan, you hand it into or you email it, I guess, to your mentor. And then you and the mentor will work out like some of the finer nuances of it, and to ensure that the work plan you can go from here to here and hopefully get to here and have a pretty good finish, rather than going from here to here to here to here. You want to make sure the work plan, you both want to make sure the work plan is realistic. It's not going to take too long. It's not too much work. Sometimes instructors want to do too much, so sometimes you have to pull them in. But the general gist is that you have to create 5 hours of learning with these learning objects. Okay, And sometimes a work plan comes in and it's only going to be about half an hour. So you have to actually say, well, you have to add a few more things, like a Webquest might take the students 1 hour or 90 minutes. So maybe you should use a Webquest kind of thing, right? So you got to do some negotiating with your mentor. Then after you have the work plan approved, then you just start working on your learning objects. And myself as a mentor, I don't mind if my candidates, say if they make a complex H5P course presentation and they say it's done, can you please check it? So I have a checklist and I'll check it long before the stage 4 submission is ready. I will help the check, make sure the items are checked as they go through, the complex ones for sure. And a lot of times I can make some slight suggestions, and you don't have to take them, or you do take them and then make some augmentation. So it's back and forth with the mentor at this time. Then after usually a few months, you submit your learning objects. The mentor would approve the learning objects, and then you have to decide which one of your learning objects are you going to upload into Tutela, the learning object repository for Canada. And I know a lot of you, for sure, you've been through this program. You have been withdrawing from this bank, I guess the Tutela bank, for your courses, as we have at Avenue as well. So it's your turn to contribute one. Now you can contribute an H5P or a SCORM object at this point. It's your choice, okay? And it's not crazy difficult, but you just got to make sure it's right and looks super professional. So when it's up there, you're proud and everybody knows that you've done a really good job, and so other people will use your learning object. Then you have to write a reflective statement and a final report and for submission. So that's basically the path of this whole thing. It's quite a journey. Okay, so just to review, the deliverables that you will be submitting to your mentor will be a work plan, a detailed work log, a course of 5 hours of level appropriate learning objects. You just remember, they've got to be in your work plan. You have to make sure that they fit a theme or themes, linked themes. They dovetail into a sort of a work CLB level, and they have to make sense in terms of progression. Okay, but remember, you're not building a whole course. You're just building something that's logical, and you can tie it together as an instructor in your final report. So you have to submit a work plan, a detailed work log, 5 hours of learning objects on your course. You have to contribute one learning object to Tutela's learning object repository, and then you have to submit the final report. Who mentors stage 4? Okay. The people who mentor stage 4, I think, are the people who have the certificate, the post-TESOL certificate. I'm not sure. Maybe we'd have to ask Jim Edgar that. But I think I need that post-TESOL PTCT certificate to mentor stage 4. I'm pretty sure that's one of the stipulations. I could be wrong, but I'd have to ask Jim on that one. Okay, so for support during stage 4, we have lots of step-by-step PDFs. You've seen them in stage 3, you've seen them in stage 2. There's a lot of them, and they're very, very detailed. Some of them go crazy, and they're 26 pages long, and really you only have to look at the first 5 or 6 pages. But we have lots of those, so you can focus in on something and get it right, hopefully the first time. A lot of the H5P stuff and the hot potato stuff is on the YouTube channel, the LearnIT2teach YouTube channel. We have course frequently asked questions on the Stage 4 course. Some are technical, some are non-technical. We also have a Stage 4 Getting Help forum, sort of like the teachers only forum on the Avenue server. Right now, Stage 4 is brand new in Avenue, so there are no postings there at this time. But I monitor it because it's part of my, it's one of my courses. You can go to Tutela, and there's something called backwards design or deconstruction. And what you can do is you can look at, say, a learning object, say an H5P, and go, holy cow, that's exactly what I would like to do with my concept. So maybe you can go to Tutela and look at something and see how they did it, and maybe it will give you a good idea of how to progress to make a professional looking H5P learning object or hot potatoes. SCORM object. And then also your support, your mentor is the person you should be contacting whenever you hit a pothole or trip over a rock on the road or whatever. Don't be shy. Make sure you email them, not 15 times a day, but you know, when you do have an issue, please don't be shy and email your Stage 4 mentor. Okay, so what is a learning object? I'm going to say learning objects a lot here. A learning object cannot be anything that's a Moodle plugin or a native Moodle activity. So for example, assignments might be nice and fit into your unit, but in Stage 4, that's something you did in Stage 3, so we don't count that. If you put a poll in, that's nice, but we don't count that towards the time that you would be allotted for your 5 hours. You can't add a Moodle quiz, so things like that. So the learning objects we do include are H5Ps, hot potatoes or text toys, which produce SCORM learning objects, third-party tools such as Quizlet, Quizzes, Socrative, Kahoot, stuff like that, and the world famous Webquest. Sorry, I'm looking at Christopher's post here. I believe, Christopher, the post-TESOL certificate training is offered through TESOL Ontario, the organization. I am 98% sure that's the way it works. You can still get your Stage 4 certificate, but not the PTCT. PTCT, yeah. Okay, sorry. You can check on the TESOL Ontario website, but I'm pretty sure it's a TESOL Ontario thing. Okay, so just like, you know, in Stage 3, a lot of you, if you finish Stage 3, if you have written the final report, you realize that you have to adhere to a rubric. And make sure you read the rubric carefully before you submit the final report for the Stage 4. You'll be talking to your mentor about this anyway. So it's quite substantial. It's got a reflective statement. You have to make sure your linguistic context is consistent within the learning objects. You'll be doing that when you make the proposal for them anyway. You're going to possibly talk about instructional design considerations. You know, the ADDIE cycle of continuous improvement: analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation, and then redeploy it. It's a good practice to have another teacher try your learning objects, so have them as log them on as, or enroll them as a student, have them try them out to make sure they're realistic, and that would be really helpful. Maybe you could help them in the future. You have to have your work log also in your final report. And then you must have references to, okay, this is only for TESOL Ontario post-TESOL certificate training. So you don't have to have any references to any research or theories. If you're not from Ontario, or if you're not going to go for the PCTC certification. But we have, I'll show you in there, we have a nice link to some resources, some contemporary resources related to technology enhanced learning, and some older ones for computer assisted language learning that you could easily dovetail into your report. And also there's an assessment rubric that you look at and we consider and assess your stage 4. So it's quite a journey here to get through stage 4. But at the end, pretty well everybody that I've done this with has been so thankful, and not thankful, so grateful that they went through the process, because they feel like they have more ed tech power, you know? Okay. Okay, so I had a couple questions here. Okay. Text Toys and Hot Potatoes. Well, it looks like you guys worked it out in there. So Hot Potatoes was Martin Holmes and those guys in University of Victoria in the 90s. They put together these cool tools. And Text Toys was made by a guy called John Higgins in the UK with his buddies over there. And they had all sorts of really cool little toys that they put into things. And another company, I don't know, all sorts of things got torn apart. But basically, they're sort of linguist tools that you can use to generate activities. Both of them you have to install on your computer. How long do we have to get through stage 4? I don't know. Monday? No, it depends on the arrangement. It says 30 hours on the course itself, on the course when you look at the FAQs. I would like to debate that. However, some people have I have one person right now who just barreled through it. I cannot believe the speed that this person has gone through this, and I'm just waiting for their final report, which is amazing. However, a lot of us don't have that luxury because of families and work and all that stuff. So generally, it takes months for people to get through it, and hopefully this is communicated. You and your mentor make an agreement on, you know, how long they will accept. You know, if you say I want to get it in for 2027, possibly they'll say no. Okay. You can work on stage 4 in your summer break. Yes, you can. Okay, any break. Okay, so let's jump into the tour. And let's go here. Okay. Hey, Paul, can you give me a hello if or something if you can see my screen with the Avenue?
I see Len Chan's stage 4 project. Looks great.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank you
John.
very much. Awesome. No, thank you. Can turn that editing off. All right. So there's no one way to do this. So I'm just going to walk you through. There are 3 courses, as I said earlier, and the first one is an exemplar. And I always like, when I'm making things or designing things or doing anything, I'd like to know where I'm going to be at the very end, and or what the product is supposed to look like. And then I'd like to go backwards, look through it that way, and then start designing. So we've put together this exemplar course, and this is based on a real person from 2012. We've made it a bit more contemporary, so some of the things aren't actually 100% what the student did or candidate did, but this is a nice model for you to look at. So if we have a peek here, it's a course, and this is what your course should generally look like. You'll have topics like that, like written reports, editing, whatever the topics are, and you're going to have learning objects. But here we need to have your work plan front and center. So this is one of the things we look at, and this is what you have to negotiate and work with your mentor on. So essentially, this actually takes some time to do for some people. Some people just already have it in their head, or they've done it before, and the difference here is that what they do is they take an existing unit that they've used, and then they just dovetail technology in here. I know it's not simple. I'm not trying to make it sound simple, but this is quite nice. So essentially here you have what the unit is, the unit of study, what the e-topics are, is that the topics, and then the tasks that they will be doing, and what technologies the candidate feels that they can use. Now, the thing is, the work plan never is exactly what comes out at the end. So it's just a plan. Okay, so but the thing is, if you and your mentor agree on a plan, it will be more realistic and more doable. Okay, so that's the work plan. And then there's another document. It's called the work plan timings. All right, so in this one, this was just annotated on top. And these are the estimates that the candidate had. It was in a different document in 2012, but this is what we'd like it to sort of look like now. So these activities, if you look at it here, it's a J quiz, a J close, a J quiz, hybrid, and they're mashed into a masher. So that's a Hot Potatoes tool that takes 3 activities, puts them together, and spits out a SCORM. So all you as the end user sees is a SCORM. The students only see a SCORM. And you know how you go through your SCORMs and they have like 1 activity, 2 activities, 3, 4, 5. That's done with the masher. And so she estimates here that it would take 30 minutes for that students at that level to complete these activities. And then she also has an H5P question set, and that would take 15 minutes. So these estimates, they work well to make sure to ensure that you hit your target of 5 hours of student learning. Okay, so this is on the exemplar course. And then here's her work log. Oh shoot, that one didn't come in a minute. 1 second. One second. Okay, so the work log. So this is what she did, what the candidate did, and met with the mentor, made all these decisions. Jim was her mentor, and basically her path. It doesn't have to be very, very, very super detailed, but general statements, lines like this. Okay, and she started in May and finished in late July. That's kind of normal. And you have access to this course as you're going through stage 4. And this is her reflective statement. Oh, no, not that again. Shoot. So this is her reflective statement. She talks about her work plan, her work log in paragraph format, and talks about each unit, how they work for encouraging learning and technology integration. At the time it was publishing on EduLink, it wasn't publishing in Tutela, but it's on Tutela now. and she has some references. She's from Ontario. Okay, so those 4 things have to be completed before stage 4 is finished. And then in here, here are her modules or topics. And so here at the poll, she has a poll just to give you a feeling of how that you would orient a student into this area, into this topic. The poll does not count as an activity. She made a SCORM learning object, and this quiz didn't count either. There's an H5P here. So only the H5Ps and the SCORMs and the Webquests, the video, the wiki. Oh, no, the wiki didn't count. So essentially on this one, she integrated some Moodle tools, but they were not counted towards the 5 hours. Okay. Are there any questions about the exemplar course? Nope. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, shoot. Thought I got away with that one.
No, that's okay. What I'd like to know is, yeah, thanks, John. What I'd like to know is, in stage 4, will we be taught how to create these things, the technology side of things? How to do them.
Here's a killer, man.
Uh-oh.
You've got to use this. In 2 more courses, I'll show you where you're going to have to learn these.
Good.
On your own. It's a killer. Can you imagine that? On your own.
On my own.
Yeah, but you have a mentor who's there to maybe send you good wishes. I don't know.
So we don't learn them as part of the course then? We're not taught
No. You're taught by using PDFs and videos and being shown exemplars. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually brought you in and walked you through these things? But that's not the real world here now. But still, yeah, we have all sorts of instructional documents and videos for you. Yes.
Good, that will work. Thank you, John.
Okay, great. Thanks, Christopher. Any more questions before I run away to the next one? Nope. Okay. All right. So you will also be getting your own course. It's going to be blank. Just like, no, you haven't had a blank course before, right? Because when you order your course, you get link 2, link 3, whatever, right? So it's really strange when you first see a blank course. It's scary, actually. Sort of like a zombie movie. There's no one there. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to, I'm not actually, I shouldn't do this. I have a course here. It's quite old. It was the basis of the old EduLink literacy course. So this is a course that just got out of control. So Svetlana Lepasco, she's at Toronto Catholic Board, I believe now. When she did hers, she started off with, just like you guys, and she turned hers into something that we actually used as the bedrock for our literacy program. And we used it on EduLink until 2020. So that's sort of a success story. Anyway, so you will have your own course. It will have nothing in it, and you can build it to whatever direction and how much you want to build it. Now, we will not share your course with anybody else. That's your private property, okay? The only reason I showed you Svetlana's is because it's public, because we replicated it and shared it out as a literacy course for just about 7 years or 8 years, maybe 9 years. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is look at stage 4 itself. This is the learning course right here. Okay, so when we go to the stage 4 learning course, you will have access to this. It's just like when you do your stage 2, stage 3, pre-stage 2, all of that. It's a lot of information. And generally, if you have experienced our courses, you normally start at the top and just work your way downwards. And that's generally the best way to go through our courses. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to answer a quiz question. I think you did this in stage 3 as well. You are going to say, am I a TESOL Ontario member or am I not a TESOL Ontario member? And this is really, 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 really important, because if you fill it out wrong, you are not going to see the appropriate activities as you go through the course. A lot of the things will be hidden from you. So if you're a TESOL Ontario person, you're going to do more work for this PTCT, and you are going to do that work. But if you fill it out wrong, you're going to do what everybody else does, and then when you want your certificate, you won't be granted it because you haven't done that work. You have to go back and do a lot of extra things. So do your best to make sure you fill that out properly. Okay, it's just going to say, are you a member of TESOL Ontario? Yes or no. Okay, it's a hard test to fail. Okay. Shabana, you will upload one SCORM or one H5P. It's up to that's your choice. Yeah. Okay, so in the course, we have our 0 topic up here. And remember, I said before you meet your mentor, you should be actually going through some of these. But these are more support up here. Okay, like I said, here's the non-technical FAQs and the technical FAQs. So these are questions that were answered quite a lot, and so they will answer some of your questions. Sorry, under the 0 topic, we have Introduction to Stage 4. This is the area that you should really, really become familiar with before you really meet your mentor, okay? So, oh, this is, gosh, Skype. Does anybody use Skype anymore? I still use Skype for some things, but you will put your Skype name in your profile if you want, or just communicate through Zoom like normal people do it nowadays. Oh, this video is going to pop in here. Shoot. Give me a sec. There's an orientation video. Believe me when I say there's an orientation video, and it's 7 minutes long. It will walk you through pretty well all the things we're talking about today. But maybe you might need a refresher just before you go through before you start the course. There's a stage 4 orientation, basically a pep talk, and just describing what I've been describing to you as well. Project requirements, so you'll have to work through this. Basically what we're talking about, same stuff. And the assessment overview, this is something that's really important. You should print this out because it tells you what you actually really need to do to finish stage 4. 70% of the grade are your learning objects themselves. So there's all sorts of things here that you should look at. And when we talk about the, remember we were talking for the TESOL Ontario folks about the references in your final statement. This is where I would probably look through. It's the Adult Settlement Blended Language Learning Annotated Bibliography through the LearnIT2teach project. If you click on here, oh no, the link is, I think a lot of you have gone through this before, but it's basically contemporary writings about technology enhanced learning, settlement in Canada. Most of the articles are from our sector in Canada, Canadians, and you will find very, very good sources for quotes in there and things that are relate to building learning opportunities digitally. So that's available as well. Then there's a checklist. This is the thing, one of the things I would print out 100%. And if you walk through this checklist, it will ensure that you are on the correct path, and very, very small steps, but important steps. And this will get you through stage 4. So the checklist is available on the stage 4 course. There are rubrics for the materials report, the written report, the PCTC report. So if you're, because I'm the author, one of the authors of this course, I can see the hidden objects. So you wouldn't see that if you were not in Ontario. But if you're from Ontario, you would see this. Some of the ideas for units of study or modules or topics can come from the real world tasks, the CCLB publications, and link themes and topics. So these are here for your consideration when you work with your mentor to come up with themes and topics and relevant content and examples that you could possibly emulate in your course. So when we're talking then about things that you can actually put into your course, one is third-party social media or technology-enhanced language learning objects. So we talk a bit about, you go through here and you learn a bit about the Web 2.0 revolution, social networking, microblogging, and all that. But if you want activities that you can put into your course, here's an example. One is infographics. Is where you actually have a project where the students make an infographic. And here is the how-to sheet. So you would actually share this with your students. You would make the infographic. The students would make the infographic. It'd be a project for them. So this is how you would support them, by giving them this PDF. And they could take this at higher levels, of course, and they could actually possibly generate an infographic. Okay, and if they want to see an example, this is the David Suzuki infographic. Okay, so we've given you how to do it, and how to do it, and for students, how to, and an example. We also have a virtual tour if you want them to make a virtual tour. Oh, that pop-up is popping up somewhere else. Virtual tour is a bit more challenging, but you can do it. And I have an example. I will put it in here. I don't know what happened to it, but there is a virtual tour example. Virtual tour is where they can go. I did this with my students where they had, I asked them if they had unlimited amounts of money and they didn't have to work and they could just go anywhere in the world, where would they go? And show me 3 scenes from that place. So one of the students said she wanted to go to Alexandria. So she showed us the Corniche, the waterfront. She showed us one of the famous museums, and she showed us a beautiful park in Alexandria. So what happened was then she went there and she made this virtual tour. It's a lot simpler than you think. With the example, for example, here. Oh boy, I got all these links there. Sorry, it's easier if I just change the setting here. I changed them to in pop-up a while ago, because I was having browser issues with Chrome. That's why they're popping up in little pop-ups. Okay, so this is a virtual tour. If they want to make a virtual tour of Parliament Hill, this is all the steps to making a virtual tour of Parliament Hill. So normally what I do is I get my students on their own to create this. So they get the confidence to make one, and then they go out using discussions and research done in our class to make one of these virtual tours based on one of their favorite places. So here's a step-by-step. And I know that it works because I've done it with students many times, higher levels. So we talk about how you can use screen captures and show you how to use screen captures. And then we go back down to other things that you can create or have students use in your class. And one is a Quizlet study set. I'm sure most of you have used Quizlet study sets. You put a list of terms and their definitions and possibly some images, and it actually generates 9 different kinds of activities that you can use with your students. And so if you want, this would show you how to make a study set. And after you've done that, that's something. And then if I was in stage 4, I would say, wow, if I assign that to my students properly, that might take them 30 minutes of activity time. So Quizlet study set is a good bang for a buck if you're going to be talking about stage 4 development. Creating a Kahoot quiz game. This takes you through how to create a Kahoot game. You can position it on your course, and that's another activity. Socrative quizzes are great also. And these are also mobile device friendly. So they also lean into that, like your students have mobile devices more than laptops. So maybe you can justify it that way. And there's another sort of quiz generator quizzes. So there are different things. You wouldn't use all of them, but you would probably use 1 or 2 of them and add them to your stage 4 course. As a mentor, I have to check the work using checklists in the system. You can see these, and basically I have to make sure that you meet most of the requirements, not all of them, but most of them, okay? There's checklists throughout under each section. So here we come, that's the third-party sort of social media tools up there. These are the self-correcting technology-enhanced learning tools. Okay, sorry. And in this section here, we're really talking about generating SCORM objects here. So you have hot potatoes. So you would have to download and put hot potatoes on your computer, and it's really small. It's safe. Hot Potato 7 came out last year. So for example, if you want, you can click on, let's see, true, false. Let's go simple here. Here's an example. And here's the hot potatoes activity that you could make. It would look just like that. Okay, so you see the example in action, and then underneath it, you have a link to a video that will show you how to actually make that particular hot potatoes activity. Okay, so for hot potatoes, you have lots of choices. Please, please, please do not try to do all of these at once. Okay, don't try to learn all of these, just use a couple. And if you can, at the very end, use the masher tool, and the masher will put them all together in a nice sequence of learning. Okay, under text toys, we have Web Sequitur and Rhubarb, Web Rhubarb. Those are also, they're text reconstruction tools. Please don't use both of them unless you're really into that. Maybe try one of them. Okay. We're running out of time, so I'm going to speed up here a little bit. If you want to embed audio or video into your hot potatoes or your text toys, these movies will tell you how to do that, okay? Because it's better to have sort of rich media like a YouTube video, and then you answer questions based on the YouTube video. So here's more text toy stuff. For each of the hot potatoes activities, we also have checklists. And then we come to the H5P area. The H5P is an alternative tool. It's quite powerful. What we have here is a whole series of how-tos. And first of all, we have interactive video, where you have the video and you can put the questions on top and interact. And the score will report to Moodle or Avenue, and you can have their grades recorded and activities recorded. There's also something called the course presentation. This is something you're probably familiar with from the Toronto Catholic School Board. They are horizontal and they have little tabs on the bottom, and you make a full unit of not a full unit, but you can have a sequence of learning, like vocabulary, introduction to the concept, vocabulary assessment of what vocabulary they've learned, a reading, audio, final test. You can do all that in one H5P, and that's why course take advantage of. And so what you can do is learn the ones you want. So true and false, mark the words, and say single question choice. So you can learn all of those here and then go back and make those activities in your Avenue course. H5P also has checklists that I have to go through to make sure that they're of good quality. And then we have the Webquest. So the Webquest is a funny thing. I'm going to add a file here myself because I think we should have more of an explanation file. But the Webquests, what they do is they have students go out there and research on the web based on some system that you've set up in the Webquest. So there's a theme, like, I don't know, the history of tobacco or something like that. And then you would have them research all sorts of things based on a web page you've built inside of a Webquest. And you can modularize that and put that right on your course. And generally it's between 60 minutes and an hour and a half of a student activity. If you haven't used the Webquest before, they're quite good. So distributing your e-activities, that's going to be sort of uploading them into Tutela. There are step-by-steps here. So if you want to put a SCORM object up into a Tutela, you would use these instructions. H5P, use these instructions. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to support you with how to do things. You will actually create your mini course and learning objects and astound us. Okay, so we're running out of time. So Paul, are there any questions that would pop up?
I think we're all caught up in the chat, but if anyone would like to unmute themselves to ask John a question, this has been fantastic, John. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions?
Yes, I have a question, John.
Arlene.
Yes. I'd like to know if there is anything to create something like a SCORM package of HIPs.
No.
No. If you have a sequence of HIPs and you want to put them together in a package, nothing like Masher.
Well, essentially the course presenter does that. I just produced one. You're going to kill me as language teachers. It was 78 unique slides. 78. I wrote back to the instructional designer who sent me the material, the storyboard, and I just said, I think I would not make it through this, even myself. I mean, you got to break it up. You can easily take H5Ps, and I think a reasonable sort of learning object would be like between 5 and 10 or 11 slides with moderate amounts of media and questions. And then you can just pop them in as single activities in a sequence in your Moodle course. But if you really want to jam it in there and have like a whole module where they work through it, like maybe not in one go, yeah, you can pop them into a course presenter. The reason why I'm not pushing H5P column, which is a much more powerful tool, is that it doesn't consistently report to the gradebook.
John, hi, this is Larissa. I have a question precisely about seeing the results of H5Ps. And now that we have Avenue,
yes,
we can see, you know, the attempts that students make.
Yes.
So I consistently have this situation when some of the students, they tell me, oh, teacher, but I did the H5P, but I don't see the results. So to the point that one student tells me that when I use my old laptop, you can, the teacher can see the results, but when I use my new laptop, the results don't show. So
it could be that they're using a different browser.
Oh, it depends on the browser?
Well, okay. We've been assured that these things, all of these are consistent, right? But sometimes if you stray from Chrome and Firefox, sometimes things just don't work the same. And it's like a shell game. Sometimes Chrome doesn't work and this, but generally I find Chrome or Firefox are the best. But you know, you can throw a rock at me. I'm not sure if that's always the way. But so what kind of H5P learning object are you talking about?
Oh, different. It can be course presentations. Some of them I get from Tutela, and some
Right.
of them I create myself, and it's.
Oh, okay. So for course presentation, do you realize if you don't click on the very, very last slide, it won't submit the score?
Oh, okay.
That's why when you design a course presentation, a course presenter H5P, you always put that last slide that says click here.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen those? They have those always on the Catholic School Board ones, which are excellent.
Yes.
If the student doesn't click there, the score doesn't go.
Okay, got it.
And on the interactive video, like if you're, I always with my, it's in the instructions in stage 4, but it's really, really important that there's this submit point that you have to put on an interactive video for H5P. If you don't put that, it's probably 50-50 that the score will report. But if you put that, that's a good design thing. The score will report to the grade. So H5P is funny. They make you do that extra little click for things to transfer.
Okay. Thank you.